If there's one thing in the world that I absolutely love photographing more than anything, it would have to be ghost towns. So far, I've only had the chance to photograph 3 ghost towns, the first one being Bodie in the Eastern Sierra. If you've never been, I absolutely recommend it. It is such an awesome place. The second spot would be the Lucky S mine in Plumas County. Unfortunately, that did burn down, but when it was in its state of abandonment, it was just a sight to behold. No one around, pretty unknown, so it's a real bummer that it's gone. The third ghost town that I visited is North Bloomfield, which is in Nevada County in Northern California. This is an awesome site, and I had the fortune of bringing my camera along. That is my Rolleiflex 3.5A. This is a cheaper model compared to the 2.8 models. This one was produced in the early 1950s. Mine came with a opt-in Tessar, which overall in the years that I've had this for has been just an amazing lens, contrast wise, sharpness, color rendition, the works. It's just been an amazing camera to use. It's also a great travel camera. I brought this to mini trips where I just wanted something small on my hip, and typically doesn't attract much attention. So if you're looking for a TLR that is not going to cost 4 digits or so, then I would go with something like the Rolleiflex 3.5A. But enough camera talk. Let's talk about this ghost town in North Bloomfield. So this town was established in the 1850s during the heyday of the California Gold Rush. It was right next to the Malakoff Diggins site, which was a very gold-laden area. And to get this gold out of the dirt, they would use what is called hydraulic mining, and that is essentially using a jet of water to erode away the mountainside and to separate the gold from this slurry through means of mercury and dredging and through sluice boxes. In particular, the mercury is quite harmful, and of course it's pretty much leached its way from this site in the mountains down into the San Francisco Bay and into the ocean. This is a really rough legacy of the gold mining period, and it's still ever present at the site. The hydraulic mining at the time also had quite a few environmental concerns. Not only did it completely ravage the landscape, strip it of topsoil and pretty much anything that would protect it from erosion in the future, but also sent so much rock, so much sediment down the stream that it would effectively flood many of the towns in the valley, and it would really just destroy agricultural land in the valley, swell all the rivers in the springtime. It caused massive issues and was one of the key environmental issues of the 1800s. By the early 1880s, quite a few townspeople and farmers in the Sacramento Valley were fed up with the hydraulic mining and the subsequent flooding. They took this mining company, the North Bloomfield Mining and Gravel Company, to court and actually won. And this decision to effectively ban hydraulic mining pretty much just doomed the town of North Bloomfield. Like many other towns, you typically just see the buildings decay over time, perhaps completely vanish, get burnt away in fires. Fortunately for North Bloomfield, a lot of the buildings do remain. The state now owns the property and they have maintained it quite well. So I hope you can enjoy as I go out and photograph what remains of North Bloomfield as well as the Malakoff Diggins site. It was a sunny spring day in the Sierra Nevada. When I arrived in the Malakoff Diggins North Bloomfield site, I decided to immediately go and hike around, and it was pretty obvious just to see the ecological impact of this hydraulic mining. There was even a monitor still there, and you could see just how it would blast away the side of these hills, and it was just a really interesting sight to see. In my Rolleiflex, I decided to load up some Tri-X, and I pushed it one stop to 800 just to get a little extra contrast, and I decided to use my red filter. As you can see with this first shot as well as some of the others that follow, they came out fairly underexposed. Although I was using a red filter and compensating appropriately, I think because of these dark evergreens, it was just too dark of a foreground and background with the landscape. And if I were to do it again, I'd maybe use a yellow filter or perhaps no filter at all. After checking out the Malakoff Diggins site, I went to some of the miner cabins nearby. Now these were quite awesome and of course abandoned. This cabin in particular, I would love to come back and photograph again someday. Fortunately, I'm close enough by where I could do that. I think just the textures of the building itself and its advanced state of decay could create some really interesting compositions. It was at this point that I arrived at the North Bloomfield schoolhouse. This is a particularly large building. It has actually been abandoned since the 1940s. Even so, it's in pretty decent condition and pretty awesome. I found a 4-seater outhouse. If these toilets could talk. It was about this time we decided to head back into the town of North Bloomfield proper. This is a ghost town, but pretty well preserved ghost town. And I think there's just an infinite amount of photography opportunities here. Definitely gonna come back and take more photos in the future. So I hope you guys liked the video. Of course, I had some issues with the red filter and pretty much it's just not matching the conditions. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with the results, especially in the wooded areas of the abandoned buildings. You just have a very nice contrast to the scene, both because of the lens on my Rolleiflex 3.5A and because I pushed Tri-X to 800 ISO. So you guys can cross your fingers. Hopefully I'll be finding some more ghost towns in the future to photograph, and I hope you stick around for the next one.